Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Thursday, August 14th. We're rounding out another week live, and I'm so thrilled to tell you that we get to do it with our friend, Lindsay, with an A, Poss. Welcome back to the show, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm so really figuring out how to turn on my camera on TikTok. We're getting there. I realize now I need to have a phone stand for it, which I do in fact have. So I'm gonna get that.
Okay, take your time. I was
perfectly prepared for this professional operation.
I have to tell you, the phone stand that I use is actually one that we got Alex at Emergence when we went to hang out with our friends. Shout out Stellar Development Foundation. So I'm sure, Lindsay, it wasn't intentional, but we use it all the time, every day. You're like literally
nice.
all the time, and I am so grateful for it. I think about you every time I see it.
Oh my gosh, around here we love to support creators, mostly me, but that is the thing. I'm so excited to hear about like what's new, what's going on. I feel like I haven't been on in a long time. I haven't seen you guys in real life in a long time.
I know. We're excited to hear what's going on with you too. If you want to catch up with Lindsay, then you can find her here on TikTok, here on X. You can find her wherever you are, whenever you listen. Seeking Alpha is at Seeking Alpha Pod on X, and on TikTok it's seeking.alpha.pod. And it is worth your time. Lindsay and Larissa unpack the industry. They give relatable, helpful, but expert takes on the news of the day. And I always learn something whenever I listen. I was really, really glad to listen to the one about OTC buying. Larissa's stats about that and the stories that you both shared. I always knew it was a thing, but I apparently was not appropriately outraged enough about how institutions are saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah.
I could always say that you could be madder, Evan. Just in general. Like you could use more anger in your life. I'm carrying the weight of all of our anger all the time.
Yeah, but like you do it so well, Alex. I think that's the problem. Like you should be less skilled at that.
He's our anger translator.
I like to imagine, exactly. I was about to say, I like to imagine that we are the brain of some Web3 person, but it's inside out. And like Alex is just really angry. Evan is whimsy and positivity. And then I'm the emotion of dolphin.
The emotion of dolphin.
What do you think if you had to give the emotion of a dolphin one word, what would it be? I don't know that that's an emotion, but I like that you're trying.
Neurotic?
I mean, God, guys. I mean, I just gave a really long disposition. You guys got to learn dolphin. You've been around me long enough.
Aggressive? I don't know. I will never forget my intro to dolphins because I was standing on. I can't tell the entire story, but I was standing on the bow of a large military vessel cutting through the ocean. We're several hundred miles offshore. And there's just dolphins like following the ship, like jumping out of the water, like as the ship goes, they like cut underneath it. And I'm just like mesmerized. And I'm standing there and my chief walks up and he's like holding his coffee and he's like, first time seeing him. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. And he's like, yeah, you know why they do that? And I was like, no, it's just because we're out here and there's nothing else out here. And he's like, nope, because the boat is vibrating the water and they really like it. And then he just walked away and I was like, okay, all right, thanks for ruining this for me.
Yeah, wow.
I guess I'm just horny. That's the emotion I am.
Oh yeah, there you go. Actually, dolphins are known for that.
I was
and gang violence.
They're known for that.
And gang violence?
They are known for that.
Yeah,
yes.
dolphins.
And gang violence, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is going on?
They run those streets.
Oh my god, how did I get a crown?
It's going on.
Someone gave it to you.
Solon was trying to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know how any of this works.
It's great, isn't it? It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
My favorite gift is like this pair of like sparkly Elton John sunglasses. There's a cowboy hat that also gives you a mustache. There's a lot of
Elvis hair that is extremely jiggly.
Yeah, and a dragon mask that when you open your mouth breathes fire.
It's
That's what Alex does every time he speaks.
It's just automatic.
Yeah. Evan, I went to a Dolly Parton themed drag brunch this past weekend. It was amazing. But I couldn't help but wish that I had your glasses for it.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking about.
What happened to those glasses, Evan?
Lindsay, I lost them in New York City.
No.
Yeah. I am pretty sure they're in an airport. I have held on to them through all kinds of adventures, and I was so sad when I returned home. It was like, leaving a part of me, realizing I had left myself in New York, and wherever they are, rest in peace. I think Kimberly down the road, she said, oh my God, she hated them. She didn't hate them, but she hated how much I wore them all the time. And she was like, oh no, you loved those glasses. It would not surprise me if in my Christmas stocking there was a pair of like pink glasses. So pray for that.
Manifest it.
I love this.
Alex, you better be better at handling someone else's stuff because you still have my lobster church key.
He also still has Larissa's lavalier microphone. We were texting about it today. I was like,
yeah, I forgot.
Larissa, I said, I will shame him until he sends it.
Yeah.
I just forgot.
Wow. Yeah, let me know if you need a shipping address.
No, we're good. We're good. Alex,
I just need. I've had it for months and months.
Like 3.
All right, listen. My plan was to introduce Lindsay with a catchy bumper sticker because there's just something about her work that kind of cracks me up when I think about the rest of the crypto space. So now that we've been here for 15 minutes, I would like to reintroduce Lindsay as the person who's actively out in the world doing the thing that every crypto company puts on their brochure and pretends to give a shit about. And that would be onboarding people. So as we kind of get started here, Lindsay, I very much want to hear about your most recent trip. And what you were working on. Because I saw a lot of posts about it, and you're the only person I know that does anything like that. So,
thank you. Yes. Okay. So, at the end of July, I had the good fortune to go down to Guatemala. I was working with a nonprofit there called Hoops Sagrado. Hoops takes 20 to 25 kids from inner city, takes them down to like a rural small city in Guatemala and has them coach and teach basketball camps for the kids there for a summer. And then it like culminates in this big tournament. And there's like 100 kids, all ages, about 9 to about 12. And they play in this big tournament and it's so much fun. And so I was talking to the person who started this. He started this 25 years ago, by the way. He did a language study program in rural Guatemala and just decided he loved it and wanted to like, this guy is like a paragon of like community, but he was just basically decided he didn't want to leave that place and he wanted to make an impact on it. And so he decided to do that through sports and he's been going there every year since. He is an incredible human being. And he was talking to me about this program and he's like, yeah, I pay all my workers in cash. And I was like, oh, like you carry around like $50K in US dollars worth of cash. Like that's dangerous and inconvenient and all of these things that are just not good. And so I said, I think I have a solution for you. And so we started talking and I work at the Stellar Development Foundation and we have a product that can kind of replace like sort of a payroll system for people who don't have bank accounts, who have like low access to bank accounts. The banks there, as like one might guess, they're limited, they debank people and they're not like super structurally organized all the time. So obviously a challenge for a lot of the people there, but we were able to go in and get like all of the people that he works with on a payroll. So whether it was like the folks that produce the nets, the bus driver, the school administrators who help run the camps, the sisters who own one of the basketball courts, we like got them all onto receiving USDC. And my expectation, because the Stellar Network has a partnership with MoneyGram where you can go get out physical cash, my expectation was actually that everyone was just going to kind of cash out right away because it's a cash-based economy. But what actually happened was like I had the distinct joy of seeing people use these products in all kinds of ways. that I didn't expect. Like the bus driver, for example, he had gotten debanked a couple of years ago, so he didn't have an account. And so he's like, oh, great. Like I'll just actually move this into the earn balance that's built into the wallet that we chose. And like, I'll just draw on it when I need money. And I was like, great. The sisters where we redid the court were using it to save, but they were then going to draw on it to plan basketball programs that they were like planning on running for the off times of school in Guatemala. There was one person who cashed out fully, but he did so that he could go and pay his workers. So it was like all these like different little ways that people were using it. It wasn't just straight like cash to spend. And it was honestly like, it was one of the best experiences of my life. Like when people have nothing, they have so much kindness and so much love. And when you come in with just an idea on how to solve a problem, but like, this was like the big learning thing for me is like, I had an idea on how to help solve these problems, but I didn't really know what the problems were or like what needed to be solved or anything like that. I just kind of brought them the product and they decided what they wanted to use it for and how. And seeing that was so cool. So like actually like having people just be able to like figure out what pain points they had and like solve problems themselves with like the products that I had available was really, really neat. And Brian, like all I did was bring Brian into the fold. Like Brian is the onboarding champion. He has such good relationships with these people in these communities. They were like all excited to work with him on this and like just get paid a different way. It was honestly so magical. And at the end of the day, like I got to play a ton of basketball with a ton of kids. So like there's nothing better, but it was one of the best weeks of my life for sure. Oh, and I brought my dad down for it. So it was like really cool. I brought my dad, I brought one of my best friends from college. It was really cool to see them like get not introduced, but like more familiar with the world of crypto this way. Like everywhere I go to these conferences, I try to bring like a Web 2 friend just to like be like, hey, like it's not all scary and just like people yelling on the internet all the time. Yeah. So it was incredible. I have a short documentary coming out about it. We redid a court while we were down there, this like amazing painting. I'm super excited to share about that. And all the people we worked with were like humbled and grateful and just so excited to like pay it forward. And that was like faith in humanity was fully restored. And like I said, at the end of the day, I got to play basketball, which was my whole reason for doing this anyway.
I love getting to see the pictures, and I really loved what you shared from your dad, the write-up that he did. And you said the fact that he documents every single thing ever on Facebook, I love it. He said that he really loved watching you with the people. And this is the quote: Lindsay often had 3 little girls literally clinging to her at all times, on her arms, on her back, on her shoulders. They adored her. Watching her with them was unforgettable. And I can only imagine how great it was to like the people you love and know, the people you are getting to know and love. And, you know, basketball, obviously a great time, you know, and I bet Guatemala was probably hot, but I bet it was beautiful.
No, that was the sneaky part. It was like, it's 60 degrees and rainy. It's up in the mountains. So it does not get hot. I was prepared for hot. So like, that's actually my bad. Would recommend Guatemala in July. It's beautiful. Mountainous region.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay,
it was so fun though. If you guys want to come down next year and get your butts kicked on the court, but then also have like a lot of fun with kids, let me know.
I would get obliterated on the court. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Terrible. Truly terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, the kids will love you though.
We can do a game of horse. If we can do a game of horse, that helps people.
That's like my specialty though. Like I'm a shooter.
Yeah. What's your horse shot? I always default to the left-handed stuff because I'm a lefty.
Eyes closed free throw is one of my go-tos, but then just like deep threes, like NBA and beyond.
Dang. Okay, cool.
For me, it's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hook shot.
The sky hook. Okay. Okay, Dip. That might have to go on the bingo card. That might have to be on the list. Guatemala in the summer onboarding. So, okay. The fact that you were able to do that, I'd like to, for all of our crypto friends in the audience, just like zoom in. We've talked a little about this before. This is a real focus of Stellar specifically. You obviously know the products because you work there, but can you help us understand by zooming into like the MoneyGram connection, the onboard, like on-ramp, off-ramp thing? That's going to be a huge part of probably the next couple of years in crypto. It's very competitive, but Stellar's already got a great solution. I mean,
Definitely.
what kind of solutions do people really need for that? They don't have banks. So MoneyGram is one such service they use. But I mean, what are your tips for other people who are trying to make crypto more accessible for everyday people? What tools exist? What do you find resonates? And how do you start from that meet them where they are approach instead of being like, hey, here's our product, use it?
Yeah, that was my big fear of like going down there for this project, because I was like, I don't want to just like run down with a product and be like, oh my God, here's like free money, whatever. So first of all, going through like a community person, like Brian, who has been embedded in that community for years and then has his own connections within the community to make it like a more comfortable experience. Like that was so nice. Like I like truly hats off to Brian, like just wonderful person, super adaptable, super amenable to like solving problems. But then also like the thing for me that I've been seeing over and over is when there's a real problem, like people want to solve it. So you don't have to incentivize or reward or do like fake stuff. Like you can just provide the product and like it kind of has natural adoption and uptake. So I'll give you another example. Recently ran a pilot program in a bunch of Syrian hospitals, actually, alongside the German government. And in those hospitals, it was taking 3 to 4 months to process payroll because there's a lot of like anti-money laundering, counterterrorism financing stuff. And then also, like, again, you're working at an NGO. So the NGO is making sure that its distribution is going to exactly who it says it is, because that's important for donors and aid agencies and all of that. And so there was this problem with processing these payments to these hospital workers. The hospital was run by a nonprofit association. And so, yeah, it was taking 3 to 4 months to get paid out. So imagine you do work in January and you're getting paid in May. It's horrendous. And so the foundation had built a pilot program to just pay 30 workers there, and they ran it over a month and did this whole thing. And payouts went from 4 to 5 months to 2 minutes, basically. And they're able to set up cash out processes with local hawalas, which, to your point about on and off ramps, I think is really important. Hawalas, they are the main money transfer service that folks use. And so like that was the one that was established as the main off ramp in this particular case. And that was a local solution. And like after the pilot project ended, the satisfaction rate was 100% across like basically every metric. Because I'm like, do you want to keep this? Do you like this? That kind of thing. So then they extended the pilot project to 1,000 people and actually had the exact same success rate. And I remember talking to a coworker because she's like, I almost feel weird saying it because the numbers sound fake. Like 1,000 people agreeing unilaterally across 4 or 5 different metrics about keeping this program is not a thing that usually happens when you design a solution for something. And I was like, what you need to say instead is that the problem is so real that this solution came in and helped people. Like, it's not that the numbers are fake, it's the problem is real. Like the problem with getting paid was so real that there was like this hunger for a solution. And so I think like that's a great example of like, rather than going in and being like, use our product, like here's an incentive, here's a reward, whatever. You go in kind of like through community, through trusted organizations, and like let people like both tell you about their problems and how you might be able to solve it, but then also adapt the tools to their own needs. It was like a way easier onboarding process. And that community connection was worth way more than the incentives we could have given. Because I think like the inclination is like $10 in rewards or $5 in rewards. And it's like, it works better. Just like a trusted advisor and like just showing people how it worked. Some of the folks on Guatemala on the team that came down from the Hoop Sagrado side, like went to the MoneyGrams with people and helped them cash out. And it was like, sometimes it took like 3 hours because there was problems and there was this and there was that. After that, it went a lot more smoothly. But like just having that like community connection and trust, like I think it like boils mostly down to trust. So yeah, that was like a big lesson for me. Like trust works way better than incentives. That's what I learned.
Well, and the incentives run out, and then you realize more often than not, that's the only thing that was keeping anybody anywhere. And
oh my God. Yeah, I just realized also I didn't answer your on and off ramp question. Off ramps, I figured out, actually, I'm pretty impressed with how crypto off ramps work, and major exchanges are doing a decent job. On ramps, I actually think is where like the next generation, like the next product wins, because it's still like extremely difficult to get your money into crypto. It's a little bit easier to get it out of, but getting into is really hard, particularly in cash-based places. But like, honestly, even if any of you have like tried to use like a credit card, it's a challenge.
Yeah,
so
restriction.
On-ramps, I think, are actually like a huge opportunity. Off-ramps are a little easier. So
Is the
That's your
problem
initial question.
it's like I mean, is it just that we don't have like good tools, or is it like a compliance thing? Because a lot of the stuff we use now, a bank, a credit card, whatever, is like super regulated and doesn't play well with crypto.
Probably. I mean, that's a great question. And certainly like the Genius Act passing is hopefully going to be a huge help to that.
Yeah, what's your take on that?
So yeah, I was really, really excited when that passed. So hopefully like that's going to be a huge help. I definitely think compliance is an issue, but also I think it's like, banks are slow to adopt all of this. Like it's a threat to their model in a lot of ways. It's actually a boost to their model in a lot of other ways. But these are, 100+ year institutions in some cases. Getting them to adopt brand new technology is just difficult. So we'll see what happens. I don't know
like
exactly what it is.
Like we said yesterday, Lindsay, we were talking about I think you and I have talked about this before, the comparison of like Western Union's cost and efficiency and speed compared to basically every blockchain, including the slowest, most expensive ones, and how it's still like orders of magnitude more efficient. I mean, that's kind of it right there. Like like you said it, these systems are so entrenched in these like just dinosaur institutions that make an ungodly amount of money keeping it that way. And it's really, I mean, like Jesse Ventura says in Predator, son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick. It's real hard to get him out of there. And in this case, the Alabama tick is Western Union and equivalent, because they're not the only ones, of course.
Yes.
Well, you just know that someday someone like Mr. Beast is just going to make a video and be like, hey, this thing's way better. And these people are now investing in Team Water. I don't know, he'll do something. And then all of a sudden that Alabama tick will be entirely removed by some YouTuber, which will be really, really, really funny if like the banking system is destroyed by social media influence over time. But if you told people that like 10 years ago, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, no, one YouTuber is going to destroy you. It's going to happen one day.
Solemn says, I was supposed to spit when I said that quote. And yes, he does have the fattest lip of dip in for the entire movie. So that's fair.
Wait, I have a follow-up. I have a question about dip, actually. Alex, as a Southerner, as a resident, well, I guess, Evan, you count too.
I count too, but not really. I feel like both of us are maybe honorary at best, but we'll try.
I'm a transplant for sure.
Have people just completely gone away from dip in favor of the oh my god, why did I just lose the thing that Laura says at Zens? Yeah, it was like Laura's just like addicted to them.
I don't know, Alex. I feel like people do both. And Zen is like the vaping version of dip. It's social.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, and it's like a social like people who would be like, oh no, I would never dip, will be like, oh, let me have one of those Zins. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Those things are crazy. I wanted to see what all the hype was about once. And like within 10 minutes, like, oh, I can't drive anymore. Like, this is a problem. It was truly awful. I really, really, really didn't enjoy it.
Not for me. But Larissa is an addict. We went to Miami and she pulled out 12 cans of them, and I was like, "What are you worried about?"
Well, I used to run a small side hustle on the boat when I was deployed, where I would pre-buy lots of dip, and then wait until we were a month and a half, 2 months into a patrol, and we would like pull into a port call in like St. Thomas or something like that, and the guys would all get off and go out, and they were like $28 a can, roughly. Mm-hmm. And then they'd come back and there's me at the boat being like 15.
Yeah.
See, everything is an ARB opportunity if you try hard enough. Someone said that to me recently and I was like, yes, everything's an ARB.
So check this out. One of the
comment from
go ahead.
Oh no, the comment from Solemn is just Zen's on the right, dip on the left.
Keeps you well balanced. No, bad.
I wanted to share this with you. Our friends over at Opacity at Consensus were giving out Zins as merch, but they had these custom stickers. I don't know if you can quite see this, that each flavor was like given a crypto name. This is Marlboro. They had Menthodl instead of menthol. And they had Skibbity-Fi. Among others. I think they had, my favorite one was called Touch of the Tism.
Oh yeah, it's relatable.
And I thought it was probably one of the better crypto merch ideas I had ever seen because they were popular. I don't know how they left with any.
Ooh, what's the best merch you all have gotten at a conference?
The Stellar phone stand is like right up there in terms of, for me, a great piece of merch is something I actually use, right? If I had gotten the Dolly Parton sunglasses at a conference, they would be number one.
Right.
But the phone stand is up there. The ZKTLS Zin is up there. And after that, I don't know. You'll have to call me back later. A great pen goes a long way. I'm a big fan of the Pilot G2s. What about you guys?
So far and away, actually, one that I do use regularly is the frickin' from Emergence, the Stellar charging cable that has the 3 ends on it. It's in my truck. It lives in my truck. But the most useful that I do use every day is the Polygon backpack because this thing is killer.
Nice backpack.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal backpack.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Use it every day.
Will, best merch?
So I got distracted because the PPI inflation came in horrible.
Oh no.
Came in really, really bad. Yeah. Best merch I've ever gotten though, if not the Polygon backpack, then it has to be the ETH Denver shirts at the last ETH Denver. Those shirts were fire.
Shirts? Boo.
I don't get much merch, guys. I don't get it. I usually get it and like give it away to people, or people are like, hey, do you want this? And they go,
Yeah.
It's just gonna take a room in my bag.
Yeah,
Correct.
I need a shirt like I need another hole in my head. But I will say I have gotten some really great shirts at crypto conferences. We're trying to do this stuff where we like capture the merch. Everybody at crypto conferences gets too much. Some interns got to take it home. And so I always try to get a few extra pieces because we'll do like a raffle, usually on Rise Up After Dark or whatever. And we'll share them with folks. I got this really cool, they had these coin wallets, like actual wallets at the Aptos experience at Permissionless. And it's like co-branded. It's got a little Aptos and you could engrave a message. So I put Rise Up on it. And it comes with a little, the best part, in my opinion, is they put a little chocolate gold coin inside. And I was waiting for my wallet to get made. And I was just, there were gold coins everywhere on their little stand. And I was like going to pick one up and I was going to eat it. And the guy was like, sir, we're going to put one in your wallet. I was like, I can't have a little. He's like, no, put it back. I was like, okay. So if somebody had gold coins, I would be a big fan of that.
So as Will just pointed out, I just opened Phantom. And it looks like Solana just fell off a cliff. Literally like 8 minutes ago, it was 204. It's currently 193.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, everything's tanking right now. Do you guys want the PPI data?
Give us the PPI data. And I saw it when Bitcoin fell off a cliff last night. I say off a cliff. We're down like what? 4%, 3%, 2%.
Yeah.
What's happening? Will?
Not even.
I don't know. I don't have the chart up. I just know it's Solana. I have Solana up. That's it right now.
Well, tell us about PPI
because that's all.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So it was horrible. So PPI inflation is the measurement of the rise of the cost of goods in business-to-business transactions. So typically it's an inflation that companies experience as they buy raw materials and things and components for the stuff that they sell to us. And that is a measurement of what inflation to us will be in the future because they take their costs and they push it on their consumers to maintain their profit margins. So month over month, PPI inflation was expected to increase by 0.2%. It increased by 0.9%. It's a really big, really big miss. Also, PPI year over year was expected to be at 2.5%. It's now at 3.3%. That's also a really big miss. Then there's core PPI. That's the measurement of the cost of goods, but exclude energy and exclude food because they're really volatile assets. Core PPI was expected to be 0.2%. It also came in at 0.9% month over month. And core PPI year over year was expected to be at 3%, and it came in at 3.7%. This is a really big miss. It's a really big miss. And I'll be very curious to see how this is going to affect the odds of us getting rate cuts in September. So we'll see. This is a pretty bad miss, which is interesting, though, because the PPI in the previous month was a huge win. So we've had a huge win and now a huge loss. So we'll see what happens.
Man. Thanks for the context, Will. And we're praying for you, Candles. Get back in the green. We played the all-time high sound 3 times last stream and 4 times total yesterday because everything was just moving and grooving. I'd like to know, Lindsay, I'd really quickly like to hear what your take on conference merch is, your best piece of merch. And then I'd love to hear your takes on the Genius Act and anywhere else you want to go. But first, I want to say to the friends in the audience, hello. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, I hope some of your candles are green. And to remind you that if you're listening live today, we are going to end the show and then hop into an exclusive stream in the Circle community. Our new forever home is on the platform Circle. It's safer than Discord. It's more robust. It's easier to use. And if you're not in that community yet, you got to get there. You can find the link at rumshq.com. And you can see my message about the stream after you sign up, or if you don't see it, you can ask anywhere, hey, when's the stream going to be? Where's it going to be? We're going to start it right after the show at about 9:30 Eastern time. We would love to see you there and answer your crypto questions. Lindsay, I also have a link for you and for Larissa. You are going to be the very first friends of the show. We've got a whole channel back there that's just like for our industry friends, favorite guests, etc., to hang out with each other. If you need somebody to do an appearance on your show, if you want to be on our show, if you want to ask somebody if they know somebody who works at Bitfinex or whatever the hell, hopefully it'll be like just a casual hangout place where we can add some value and cultivate some of the great minds who've contributed to making this show great. I'm going to send you the link after the stream. We'd love to have you.
Yay, how fun. I love that. I will also give you a quick take on conference merch, just because I know that was part of it. I got a free tattoo at Fest last week, so that was some pretty cool merch.
They just have like a table set up and you could like walk through and just get one?
Yeah, they had some flash related to their theme of syzygy, which I thought was pretty cool. So,
great theme.
Yeah, really cool.
Syzygy is such a good word.
Yeah, so shout out to Aptos for coordinating that. That was really, really neat. And then the other thing is I got a Bagoo bag that I actually use every single day. It's like they're called the Crescent bags, but they're crossbody, and I use it every single day. That was from Luxo. And then we gave away these beautiful scarves in Cannes that I actually wear quite often. So
I love a scarf.
That can be arranged.
You would love a scarf. Yep.
It's a scarf that you would wear. Like as I was saying it, I was like, "Oh, this is an Evan thing."
What happened to those killer tank tops that you had in Cannes? What did they say? It was like I just remember seeing a picture of Raph in one and being like,
yes.
What
I have those too. I'll send you guys those.
I need one. I never wear a shirt except for when we're on the air for our show. And I would wear, like a skimpy little shirt. Like that would be fine for when I got to go into the grocery store.
Well, you have to let me know if you want a Girls Gone Stable crop top or a Boys Gone Stable longer shirt. That's the thing. But yeah,
I don't know.
They're great.
Might be audience choice. You can vote for crop top or long top in the comments.
Yeah. I do actually want to go back to instead of Genius Act though, I'd love to actually hear more of Will's analysis on the PPI stuff, just because for me, so I studied policy and economics at the same time. So macroeconomic conditions and how that kind of impacts the direction that we're taking is also just as important to me as policy. But Alex, did you have a addition? What was the finger? Okay.
I think Alex is frozen. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
no, he's moving.
Yeah, he's moving.
He's having a stroke. He's smelling some bird dust.
Got it.
Correct.
Got it. Take it where you want to take it, Lindsay.
Anyways, so Will, I'd love to get more of your kind of analysis on how these kinds of numbers actually do impact mostly I guess the short-term and trading communities in crypto, just because one of the things I'm always super curious on is why macroeconomics has such an impact on price when this is kind of supposed to be a thing that's a little bit more independent of macroeconomic conditions. But clearly, economics and policy have a deep, deep impact on what happens within the industry, no matter how much we try to separate those two things. So what are your expectations for the PPI data, and why do you think that these kinds of numbers have such a deep impact on an industry that's kind of supposed to be independent of it?
Guys, more questions to me like this. In the future, more questions to me like this.
Noted.
Okay.
Noted.
Write a little note down. Yeah. So let's talk about why it impacts price right now, and then we'll talk about why these things impact crypto, even though crypto is supposed to be separate. So everything across the markets are really pricing in one major event, which is the continuation of rate cuts moving forward. That matters because rate cuts will increase global liquidity. There's more money around, more money to invest in things, better environment for risk on assets, better for altcoins, better Bitcoin, stocks, all that stuff, right? Pile of money goes up, typically asset prices go up. So that's why. So anything that can affect the likelihood of rate cuts happening or not happening right now will boost or dampen the market. And so PPI inflation is affecting that, because if PPI inflation is hot, you would then expect CPI inflation to get hot. You would then expect PCE inflation to get hot as well, which is it's the measurement of inflation that the Fed cares about most. Because PPI is that first bit in the supply chain that if costs are getting more expensive there, it's going to be seen at the end consumer as well. About 1 to 3 months later is the typical time period.
I just want to say PPI is producer price index.
Yeah,
CPI is consumer price index.
Yes.
So you would expect, producer price
Correct.
index goes up. That means it's more expensive for them to make. Consumer price index then goes up. What does PCE stand for? I don't remember.
PCE is basically CPI, but weighted more so towards more recent inflation metrics. So it's a more telling measurement of what recent inflation trends are like.
And the acronym is Personal Consumption Expenditures.
Gotcha.
Okay. Funny enough, I actually didn't know that. So thanks, Evan.
No problem.
Yeah. Here we go. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
You got it.
And so we're at an interesting point right now, because last month's PPI inflation came in super cool, which was making us think that we were actually going to get better CPI and PCE numbers in 1 to 3 months because of that lag. But now we're getting super hot. So it's almost like those two PPIs are canceling each other out. And I'm viewing this as a time where I just go, okay, I'm looking at next month's PPI to be like the real teller of what that inflation level is like. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking of. What's going to happen is there could be another reaction to this news at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time today, because that is when the Fed CME will change. And the Fed CME, it's a website you can go to, and it is basically the market's analysts telling you what the percentage chance of us getting rate cuts or rate hikes or remaining the same is going to be for each of the Fed meetings. And that gets updated daily at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time based on whatever new data is available. So we just got new PPI data. It was bad. Right now we're at a 96% chance of us getting rate cuts on September 17th, and we'll see how that changes. If it goes down to like 85%, the market's going to go, okay, cool. Let's go, baby. We like this. And then things will pump. Okay. So that's how things are going to affect in the short term. But if it goes down to like below 50% or 30%, you might see the markets fall further a little bit later this morning, in an hour from now. Okay. So that's all that. And it all has to do with just anything that could affect rate cuts. And typically we don't talk this much about rate cuts or macroeconomics. We don't. But because we have been in a fight against inflation for the past 3 years, it's super, super, super critical. And because we had a time of rate hikes that crunched the amount of money that was available in the market, and we really want to see that expand if you want to see asset prices go up. It's bad for the US dollar and for people who don't invest, which is the majority of people, and things become more expensive and it's harder for the average day Joe. But if you're investing, hey. Anyway, economy is weird like that, right? Okay. So now, why does this affect crypto, which is something that is supposed to be outside of nation states, that's supposed to be outside of this traditional economic zone, that's not supposed to rely on the dollar? But at the end of the day, we do most of the trading on the dollar with stable coins or with the dollar straight up. For economies that issue other currencies like the euro and the pound and all the other things, those economies and therefore the value of those currencies are greatly affected by the US economy. And at the same time, if world economies aren't doing well, then people at home are affected and they have less money to invest in things. Mm-hmm. That involves cryptocurrency, right? So if people are hurting, they don't feel safe, they keep their money and they don't invest in things like crypto. If they feel safe and they feel like times are good, you spend more, you invest more, mm-hmm. Things are happy and prices go up, right? So macroeconomics will always impact crypto, even though it's this outside thing. And at the same time, crypto is just getting brought more and more and deeper and deeper and deeper into the traditional financial system with the ETFs, now with the 401ks, now with, Bitcoin strategic reserves at the nation state and state level. So these worlds are just becoming closer and closer and closer together. And, the same people who are buying stocks are the same people who are buying crypto. So if they're worried about stocks, they become a little bit worried about crypto. If you have the Japanese carry trade was a phenomenal example.
Yes.
Where Japan last year said, hey, we're going to increase rates for the first time in a decade. And it liquidated billions of dollars. And so people are like, oh my God, I have to cover those positions over in the Japanese markets. I'm going to sell all of my stocks in the US, and I'm going to sell the Bitcoin that I have in the ETF. And so the Japanese central bank caused a crash in your, fart meme coin, so
That was crazy. I actually think about that all the time because there was a very brief moment when all of us were experts on Japanese carry trade and the yen to dollar ratio in a way that I simply never expected as a child. Like if you would have told me, that's what I would have been researching. But yeah, you're totally right. Like that was a real tiny domino to huge domino situation. A very, very extremely clear macroeconomic version of that in a way that I hadn't experienced as an adult, where it was like, holy shit, a 0.25% interest rate caused a global economic meltdown.
Yeah. And I see the comment. I was like, yeah, I did panic sell there because I was in profits and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I was still in profits and I was like, I'm just going to get out of this because I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was happening because I didn't have as deep of a knowledge. I knew of some stuff from a macroeconomic standpoint, but it wasn't an avid student of it yet. And that happened. And I was like, okay, I'm missing information that will help me make better decisions moving forward. And then I really put the axe to the grindstone from a macroeconomic standpoint. And I was like, I need to study this stuff and get to become an expert on this because it caused me to not make as much money. And so it was that Japanese carry trade, a huge moment of me elevating my game. So yeah, it was really good. I made a mistake. I made money, but still.
I'm so glad actually that you said that, because one thing that I hadn't thought about is when people are covering their positions, how that impacts the traditional investment vehicles that actually involve Bitcoin. I've only thought about it from the other side of that coin, where it's okay, good. Now we can get traditional investment people involved in crypto. But what that means is that crypto then has traditional investment people involved in it. So when you're talking about the tie between these macroeconomic conditions, I actually only looked at that relationship from one way just before you said that. So that makes total sense that obviously the more 401ks, IRAs, ETFs, whatever investment vehicle you want to use are tied to crypto and offer people cover without directly investing in crypto, the more subject we are to these macroeconomic conditions. So that's a really, I'm so glad you taught me that today.
Well, I'm so glad you asked such a good question, guys.
Listen, man, we set you up with good questions, but I'm taking notes.
You guys do great.
Notes.
You guys do great. Even with Alex's strokes, it's all great.
Yeah, Alex, you doing okay over there?
So,
yeah, you okay over there, buddy?
I'm fine. I did just buy Soul.
You've never been less convinced by someone saying, I'm fine.
I'm fine. No, I was just going back and forth with a bunch of comments, and then I had to buy Soul because it just fell off a cliff. And I will just say, you know what? No, I am going to take a minute because
guys, you woke Dad up.
Because if Will wants to get pithy, then I'll get pithy. All right. So listen, Buster. Just the other day, I posted that I sold Soul at 204, and you immediately went, sold too soon. And all I'm saying is that entire position I just rebought at 194. So suck it.
Well, you bought too soon because it dropped down to 190.49. So you didn't time it perfectly, sir.
Okay, now you want to get technical? I'll do it again. Watch me, Will. I'll do it again because I sold at 192 as well. And I mean, the original purchase was at 160. So
I'm still averaging 130.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to pay a lot of taxes. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love that comment. It's oh, you sold. Why would you sell? You got to pay taxes. And it's That means I won. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Only if you tell the government.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, you got to tell the
Only if
government.
you tell the government.
Alex.
Yeah, you're the IRS.
He says on a live broadcast.
Yeah. Right. I'd like to know the sentiment in the comments is kind of a good place to segue next in terms of like, what is our take in light of this PPI moving this market? Has the sentiment shifted? Is this a pivot moment? And my take is, well, we need to wait and see. But generally speaking, I'm of the same mind as you, Alex. I see this as a good opportunity to buy the dip because everything around us still seems so bullish. But, you know, our macro big brains here, what do you guys think? Do we have enough information? Or how do you react to this? Does the sentiment shift the market away from buy the dip?
Well, markets are always forward looking, right? And so any dip that you can get from this, you just got to think of things from a timeline. We are hopefully going to get rate cuts in September, and maybe we'll get another one, maybe even another one, probably not, but maybe we'll get 2 still between the end of the year. There's still the September meeting, the October meeting, a November meeting, and a December meeting. Hang on a second, I have it up here. Yeah, there's no November meeting. So there's 3 meetings left. We can get 2 rate cuts. The market still seems likely and hopeful of that. But also, what happens after that? What happens next year? What happens next year is Jerome Powell will be stepping down in May. And Trump just yesterday said, I want 1% rates. And that would be a massive amount of cuts. And he's going to put someone in place who's most likely going to be very agreeable to doing just that. And so if the market is even more forward looking, they go, okay, cool. I have these rate cuts. Then we kind of have some ideas of what's going to happen between now and then. Once May of next year comes around, we're going to have somebody in there who's going to just want to take an axe to these rate cuts and really start chopping down these rates and really expand global liquidity. So, you know, the market's looking at that also further down the line. So any big dip we could get, the market will slide in and scoop that up because it goes, hey, this President Trump appointed future head of the Fed is going to decrease rates by 300 basis points, which is a lot. So we'll see what happens, you know? So that would be my take, is always look at things on a timeline. You know, it's very easy for us to focus on the near term. It's easy to get caught in that. I do at times as well, but then just be like, the market's always forward looking, but what happens next? Oh, massive amounts of rate cuts expected in 2026. So let's see.
Lindsay, what's your take on it? And what's your take on the broader situation in terms of, we just got the Genius Act and all the other different things that make this moment, you know, a good stew for a Bitcoin all-time high kind of thing.
Yeah, a moment. This is a moment. Okay, so I will say, unlike Will, I come more from a policy, like I come way more from the academic side. So I do not actually I track the markets purely for the love of the game, not for any financial incentive, which arguably is worse, I would say, because like I'm the person who read the Bitcoin white paper in 2012 and bought 0 Bitcoin. So
Got it.
I've been for the love of the game for a long time. But so tracking the market these days has been, and I do not use this word lightly because it's overused, but it's been an unprecedented experience between tariffs, rate cuts, fights at the Fed, and just in general, extremely unknown policies coming out of the White House. It is extremely hard to do that long-term thinking. So, Will, to your point, I think everyone is always looking at what the next thing that's coming is. But the problem is no one exactly knows what that next thing is. And there used to be like a little bit more of a clear cadence to what that next thing was going to be. And that has just completely flown out the window. So what I'm seeing a lot more of in the markets now is exactly what Will's saying, is like, we will wait for the next thing. But then that next thing comes and it's like, okay, but then the next thing. Okay, but then the next thing. Okay, but then this is going to happen. And there's been more of that wait and see kind of game being played, which I actually think is probably pretty good in somewhat of a destabilizing environment, because at least with a wait and see approach, nobody is making any drastic changes on their end in reaction to what's happening currently in the present. So I would say that like the macroeconomic conditions, especially with what's happening with the Department of Labor and the statistics coming out and all of that, like we're now not even sure if we can trust statistics coming out, and the Fed is having a fight with the president. And like, there is so much political politically happening right now that no one can predict, that it has for sure been a wait and see game for everyone on Wall Street and otherwise. So I think like, because everyone else is in a holding pattern, I'm just participating in that same holding pattern of like, I don't really know. No, I'm not making a drastic move. No one else is making a drastic move. We'll see what comes out of the White House. So when it comes to like traditional markets, that's definitely how I'm thinking of it. When it comes to crypto markets, there's actually been a lot more positive direction. So as we know, like there's a lot of extremely talented regulators that are coming out. They are actually moving more with a pace that is more reflective of traditional markets, as in they're moving slowly. So the Genius Act, obviously, we've been talking about for 5 years. I cannot believe it got passed, by the way. The amount of times I've been like, stablecoin legislation is happening, and then it doesn't, is like, I was down like 4 or 5-0 on that call. So, like we're finally at like 4 or 5-1 because we got it passed. So that was amazing. And like huge props to all of the legislative aides that worked on that. I know it was been a marathon for years of just like conversations and education. And even the final marathon was like a hot room of 26 hours worth of addendums and edits. So like, thank you to all the legislative aides that worked on that. And then also like I do still believe in the talent of the regulators that are there. Hester Peirce had an amazing speech the other day on privacy and why that's important. But also the SEC is taking a very, very measured approach to the policies it puts in place, which is really, really nice to see, as opposed to like just maybe guessing. So I don't know if we're going to get a market structure bill in the next session. I suspect we'll get it, but I am, unlike stablecoins, I am not going to make any predictions about its passing or likelihood of passing. You cannot fool me again, Congress. But I do think we'll see a lot of movements in the development of a market structure bill. And if we're lucky, we'll see a market structure bill passed next session. When those bills are passed, it's really, really good actually for innovation and building, because it does provide guardrails, although they're imperfect, to people that are building products, and encourages them to actually stay onshore, which is great. So I am excited to see kind of more measured legislation come out for crypto. And with the best legislation, nobody's 100% happy. So traditional banks don't get what they want. Congress doesn't fully get what it wants. The industry doesn't fully get what it wants, but everybody's at like 80 to 85% happy. And that's enough to be able to get companies building, moving, creating new products, creating new tools, and like better serving the markets. So I'm hoping for some market infrastructure next. We'll see. But like I've been super, super impressed with what's coming out of the SEC, and I think we'll continue to see that. And the lack of regulation by enforcement has been very nice in this new environment. So macroeconomics, a mess. Crypto rules, there's some hope.
Getting there.
Yeah.
They're cleaning up a little bit. Yeah. That's perfect timing. I got to run for a meeting right now, but Lindsay, great chatting. Fantastic questions. Alex, Evan, love you both.
We love you too. We'll work on our questions.
Brains, okay. Great Solana buys.
Bye for now, Will. If you want to catch Will, he is going to join us again after his call in the Circle exclusive stream. If you're not in the Rise Up community yet, you can check it out. Find the link and so much more at RUMS, RUMS. HQ.com. We've got forums, we've got chat rooms, we've got live events and video rooms. My friends, it's a global community. The only thing missing is you. We'd love to see you there. I am curious to know, we're going to try and make a little trip to Washington, D.C. at the end of September. On the agenda is to get time again with Hester Peirce, friend of the show, and maybe favorite regulator. But I'm curious to know if you got any tips for us, if you're going to be in town or if you're going to be trotting the globe more. It's going to be BTC in DC. And I don't know, Alex, I have to break this to you on the air. I don't know that we're going to get tickets. I was contacting them back and forth. Shout out to the organizers of conference. Just like our legislators, you deserve many thanks. They said that they're not doing media passes, but if we want to buy a slot on the floor to make content, it'll just cost us $15,000 a day. Can you imagine paying $15,000 a day to walk around with a GoPro? I was like, yeah. How do you understand our production needs here?
Hard pass. But also, I would say
conference, but
you got to call. We got to text Mr. Bitcoin and see what we can do. Maybe we can all just be his assistant.
Alex is referring to our friend Dennis Porter. Have you connected with Dennis, Lindsay?
Not yet. We have plans. We'll get there.
Good.
I know
If
Dennis and I
you're
are
in
gonna have lots
DC,
to talk about.
Alex is going to try and be his coffee gopher
Yes.
and just soak up as much as he can. But we would welcome any tips you have for going to Capitol Hill. We'd love to get more meetings with Congress people. You know, should we be reaching out now, or should we be doing something else with our time while they're there? We want to be a helpful force, educating everyday people who are watching us. But also, if we can contribute to the work that policymakers are already doing and just kind of put ourselves at their service, we want to do that too, more and more. What do you think?
What I think is so valuable about what you all do is like you all have been on a different platform and talking to real people for a really long time. And I know that that's like a thing that you all talk about a lot, but the reality is like Congress doesn't get to see that a lot. So I definitely think that actually like if I were you all, I would put together like kind of some key takeaways from the audiences that you've had over the years of like actual real people, retail consumers, stories you've heard, all of that, and take that to them and be like, hey, like you don't need to be afraid of this industry. Like, here's how we connect with moms and like and family members and friends and like people that are just on the ground being like real people, and just kind of show that side of it. For the folks that are already bought into crypto, they're just going to be excited to be there. But for the ones that are like maybe more in the middle or more skeptical, like hearing those real stories is like such a help. But so that's like where I would spend my time. The other thing is like, we have a very, very powerful DC Crypto Friends Telegram. It's like one of my favorite places on the internet. This is also one of them. There's like, I have a couple favorite places on the internet where I live. Like Rums is way at the top of that list. But like, let me pop you in there and we'll see if we can plan a little meet and greet with the DC community. I like being from DC. It's actually been really, really fun in the past, I would say 4 years, seeing the community there really explode for crypto. And it obviously like there's a ton of policy. We all know that, but I'm seeing so many more builders and investors and enthusiasts. And so not just policy people. Actually in the DC Crypto Friends group, there was like specifically not a policy channel for a really long time. Like it's really like the community there has grown so much and it's been like really, really wonderful. Like we have a Compass Coffee accepting Bitcoin, like their owner is like really into that, getting a new pub key location. Like it's been really, really cool to see like the retail side kind of take off in DC. So I think you guys have a lot to do there. I'm excited. I won't be there. I'll be in Asia. Come at the end of October.
What are you doing in Asia? What's on your plate? You've obviously got the pod. Seeking Alpha is continuing to chug along. You've got your work for Stellar. What are you focused on right now, like for work, but also like, you know, for you? What are you doing and how can we support it?
So we're actually doing, I'll come back on before this, but we're doing a live show at PubKey in New York in late October. So everyone tuning in from New York, we've got a couple months to like plan that out and advertise it and stuff. So that's coming up and I am pumped. But yeah, this fall I'll actually be spending quite a lot of time in Asia trying to build community there. It's kind of a market that we haven't expanded into. So I'm excited to kind of get on the ground there and start building community and just like see what is happening. The developer rate there is growing at 2.5 times the rest of the world. There's obviously so much movement. It's really cool. And there's a lot of capital there between like Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore that is like kind of being reinvested in crypto. So just really excited to like be there and see kind of what's happening on the ground there. And then like, yeah, the podcast I'm super excited about. But then for me personally, like I am playing as much basketball as possible this fall. That's like, I'm like refocusing. This summer, I spent a lot of time in Europe on the ground there, which was amazing. Met some really, really cool people in Berlin, actually. That was like a city where
it's so cool. I want to go.
I haven't been in like 10 years, but it was really cool to see the mix. Like Berlin is such a culture hub. Like it is so arts and music focused. It's just so cool. And so like seeing that overlap with crypto was like really, really fascinating. That was awesome. But yeah, so I'm excited to be on the ground, but like I took a little bit of a basketball break. So I'm bringing it back, which I can't wait for. I'm so excited.
I'm a big fan of this.
Very cool. Very cool.
What's happening with you guys? What's going on this fall for you?
Alex, what's going on for us?
Uh,
A lot.
yeah. I mean, well, personally, I'm in the midst of selling and buying a house. So that's as fun as you can imagine. Dealing with all the mortgage stuff. Honestly, doing all of this and then going through the traditional mortgage process just like makes me angrier than it ever has before because it's so stupid.
It's just stupid.
It's awful.
For sure.
But I mean, I'm very anxious for that to be done because I will get a tremendous chunk of my life back. Because right now I commute about 15 hours a week, and then there's even more. So I mean, I'll get like 35 hours of my life every week back just from doing this move, which is going to be great. Other than that, I mean, not personally. Just this. I mean, maybe we'll add 7 or 8 more shows. I don't know.
Listen, pal.
I just saw the fear in it. We're not adding that many. Maybe 2 or 3.
No, but we are hopeful to add. So we've got the morning show. We do After Dark. We've added Rise Up Market Watch recently, where Will and our colleague Doug break down all things macro that affect the micro markets of crypto. They run through technical analysis on any asset you can think of and make the complex clear. That's Monday nights. Alex and I don't have to do anything but, support them with the love in our hearts. So that's great. And we've got this new community platform. We're trying to migrate people away from Discord because it's just not safe. And it's difficult. The barrier to entry is high for a lot of the folks in our community who, frankly, have never used Discord before. And even if they have, would prefer an alternative. So we're working on migrating everyone over there and making that truly a very valuable place for everyone to be. One of the parts of that vision is that we would have a live learning experience. A piece of feedback we get a lot is, even though we've got courses folks can take or, an ebook you can download or a show you can come to, chats you can participate in, it would be really helpful to have more organized, structured education, something like our friends at SheFi or Safari Club have done. So we're going to launch a cohort. I'm hopeful that we'll have signups starting at the end of this month in order to launch it sometime in September so that we can have like an 8-week cohort that's done before Thanksgiving and all the major holidays that people will go through to go from 0 to 60 safe, confident crypto users. We'll have expert guests and friends. And each week will be like a topic, a theme, and it'll be organized around the community learning experience that I'm really proud of having cultivated here with all of our friends. Like maybe 80 people is what I'm thinking, split into subgroups of 10. And everybody's going to get paired up with a buddy based on their interests. You'll do a little sign up form that's like, hey, do you want to learn to trade? Do you want to be a person who works in the crypto industry? Do you want to create content about this? Are you just here to learn to be a safe, confident user? Great. You'll get paired up with somebody else, another mom, another business owner, somebody else who's interested in starting a company. And you'll have a mentor who's been in the community for a while. And I'm hopeful that the relationships people form as they learn this stuff will give them the motivation to keep learning even when it's boring or the market is down, and that after the cohort, those people will kind of come with a fresh energy into the rest of the community on like a higher floor of knowledge. They will know the answers to all the questions everybody tends to ask when they come to our show, to our community for the first time, and they will be just so equipped to help folks learn, grow, be safe, all that stuff. I'm very excited about that. And also, hopefully we'll have more opportunities to meet with policymakers, to meet with other brands and companies who are telling a better story, who we can work with to reach more people. I'm very bullish on that and hopeful that, I don't know, I said the other day to somebody who was saying, you guys are really, the show is really blowing up or the community is really growing. And I said, Alex and I have felt like that for a couple of years. We were talking about the Hester Peirce interview. She emailed us back and said, yes, I'll meet with you when you come to DC. And I said, a year ago it's about a year that we sat down with her for the first time. And it felt like such a big deal. And it was. But pretty much for the last 5 years, we've been working on something that feels like a big deal. And it just is growing. And it always feels like the next big thing is right around the corner. And more people come to us and say, this has been helpful, that's been helpful. And so I feel like we're kind of living the dream in that regard. And one day when Alex and I have totally made it and we, are retired in little rickety chairs on our lawn somewhere yelling at the kids, we'll think of this as really the good old days. So just trying to enjoy the good old days while they're happening right now is the focus.
That's so beautiful.
Amen.
Leave it to Evan to make us soft and sweet and emotional.
Myself a ding for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was so wonderful.
I appreciate
These
it.
are the good old days.
These are the good old days. That's right. We got cool people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that comment. We got cool people. That's right. Okay, but what's happening? What projects are you all tracking these days?
Oh,
What's going on with that? Give me the news.
go ahead, Alex. You go first, and I want to pull something up.
I love that. That was a clear punt. Good for you, Evan. Evan said, "I'm not ready." Alex,
Yeah.
you fill it out.
I am ready, Alex. I can do it if you need a second.
I mean, mine is as boring and short a list as it always is, because this is one of those things. Like the more time I spend, Lindsay, I'm curious if you can commiserate with this, because I feel like we probably can. The more time I spend here working, and the more time I spend with all of this, the less time I have to like dig around and gem hunt and do all that kind of stuff. So like,
Oh yeah.
it's funny. Like I host a fake radio show that talks about crypto almost every single day, sometimes more than once a day. And I have like almost no idea what's going on. So in that sense, I follow what I can keep up with. So portfolio is small, but I mean, Solana over everything, because just, I mean, what we were running a few numbers yesterday, and it was just nuts. Like the number of transactions that happened last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's in the hundreds of millions, and then there's Solana sitting at 10 billion, and it's just like you can't argue with that. So plus the phoenix from the ashes post FTX is like something to be studied. That's crazy. Thought it was gone, dead forever.
Mm-hmm.
Also then, like smaller protocols that are just like genuinely useful that I watch, like the ones that I can really easily talk to someone about and be like, this is a thing that you could do pretty easily, like in crypto terms. And Morpho's just crushing it. Like with the number of people that are like, oh, if anyone's going to add Vault anything, it's like, well, who else are you going to do that with? No one. So in that sense, you know, Spark, I'm a big fan. I don't even know if they have a token, but I'm a huge fan of Spark. Unbelievably easy.
Sometimes even better.
Yeah.
No, I prefer when not everyone has a token. We have too many tokens. But other than that, I mean, I'm very, very singularly focused on just like places where people can get better yield with dollars. So like that's kind of like my number one focus. And I have to say, I would love, like on a personal note, I really, really desperately want to do more travel, because I've had a couple just instances where, I mean, watching you do all the work you've been doing, Lindsay, is awesome, because I'm super jealous. And so I'm trying to live vicariously through your posts. But I had a moment where I think I don't know if I told this story on the show. I definitely told you, Evan, where a follower of mine, like, you know, sent it was like one of those just pure happenstance type things where I opened my TikTok notifications and there's 540 something like DMs, and just the top one just stuck out. It was a shared, and I didn't recognize the name, and I was just like, well, I'll just open it. And it was just someone sharing their live stream, and open. There's like, you know, 2 people watching, but it's just like a bunch of dudes in this cafe in Ghana, just like shooting the shit and listening to music and hanging out, whatever. And then they saw my name when I entered the chat and said, what's up? And then they all lost their shit. And I just had this very surreal moment where like I'm sitting on my front porch knowing that in Ghana on the other side of the planet, there's like 20 adult men just like losing their shit in a cafe.
Alex is big in Ghana.
Because my dumbass is just like, hi. And that was, so very desperately want to travel more, because I haven't really gotten to do a whole lot of that in the last year.
Yeah, one of our goals is to be, when we travel, like when we go to DC, we want to have more IRL events for the people in our community who live, you know, they're all over the place. I think that would be really cool to do more like Rise Up IRL. Sorry to rug you, Alex.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
No, actually, on that note, before and then you have more time to prep your projects. Like, I've been thinking about this because the conferences are amazing, but they're also like, I mean, we all know there's like 800 side events, all this stuff. I've been thinking about trying to be a little bit more spontaneous and community building while there. And basically, like, instead of pre-planning, like, oh, we're going to do like this event or this hangout, which you have to do that as well, of course, but like doing more like, hey, like, I'm going to go to this coffee shop at this time. And like just pinging it to like every person that I met there and just being like, do you want to come? So like a little bit more impromptu meetings. And we were talking about this because the office building where the Seller Development Foundation is located also has Privy, also has Electric Coin Capital. And someone was like, it feels like college or like high school where like you're all going to your own classrooms, but then like you see each other in the hallway between classes. Like we just like were able to walk and grab coffee with some folks from Privy yesterday, which was so wonderful. This is also why I get no work done. I don't go into the office often because I don't live in New York City. But when I do, I'm like, I don't come in because I cannot do anything. There's too many people to talk to, too many snacks to eat. But yeah, so I think like bringing back that like kind of high school hallway atmosphere is actually something I like want to kind of focus on at IRL events from now on. Like let's just like go like jacket shopping or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I really like this idea of like intimate or I don't know, like slow connection. I was saying to Alex the other day, one of the things I think could be cool is like, you know how every celebrity's got like a text me number now. And I think that can be like a little silly, but I think the text message I heard someone say is the most intimate space on your phone. And I really like the idea that we would have a text list that's like very infrequent, very occasional. Like if we were to go on like a city by city trip, you know, you'd get like a text at the end of the day that's like, you know, just a picture of us hanging out with our friends, or kind of like, you know, Lindsay, you and I are in Taldau, and that is basically a glorified group chat. But it's great because people will be like, hey, you know, is anybody hanging out in Cannes? What are you doing? You posted about that. Anybody want to go on a boat ride today? And folks will be like, do you know someone who works here? Or like, here's my travel hack. Just like little thoughtful touches that don't necessarily hyper financialize our relationships. Those are so underrated in my opinion.
I agree. And also speaking of hyper financialized, what projects are you tracking? What makes you excited these days?
Yeah, I'm going to disappoint you in terms of hyper financialized. Here are a couple just.
You know, I hate the finance side, by the way. So like, you actually won't.
Of like recency, Alex and I actually had a call yesterday. Shout out to Jeff Rascal, our friend, with Jeremy Etnom on Twitter, who's building something called Onyx, not the JP Morgan Onyx, but this is a platform for tokenizing revenue generating businesses. And think like companies that are not going to IPO, that are not going to go through all the hurdles and hoops, maybe even as simple as like your neighborhood mechanic that's been in business for 4 decades is a solid $5 million a year business, and probably not that much of a mechanic, but you know what I mean? Like small businesses want more funding, want to scale, or just want a chance to have a deeper relationship with the consumers and other business people in their neighborhoods across the world. You can invest from Ghana in this mechanic in Memphis who does great work, and also maybe earn some Memphis token or something like that. I don't know. We were riffing on ideas, but infrastructure like this, that's the future. Another one I really like is GliderFi. Are you hip to Glider, Lindsay?
Actually, yes. I am.
Yeah, then I won't belabor the point, but for people who didn't see our episode, but then we had a great episode with Brian where he walked us through this AutoFi concept. This is another big concept. A lot of people are competing in this space to abstract the difficulty of, say, finding a liquidity pool, knowing how to connect your wallet to it, understanding how to balance your position. No. This is like crypto in a click. You can automate your portfolio in one place. Another protocol that's doing this that we saw last night was Reserve. I met with them at Consensus. I love their products.
I think Reserve is one of the ones that I really love.
They do like index tokens. So you got a token for like the top 25.
Yes. Oh, I think this, yes. I think this is a brilliant project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Reserve. They had marketing at the baggage carousels in Denver.
No way.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I know this brand. Reserve is awesome. I'm super impressed with them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their commercials, which are like, introducing crypto to your parents concept. They're clever, they're simple to understand, and I just think that is the future of like crypto consumer. Like you said about onboarding people in Guatemala by solving a real problem they have with like a solution that's not just here's a bunch of free tokens. Their token, we were looking last night, is actually totally in the toilet. It's got a terrible chart. I wouldn't touch it with a 100-foot pole, but I would absolutely spend my time using this product. And I think if it's as good as I imagine, sharing it with a lot of people.
Yeah. This is one that I've actually have shared. I think it's so cheap that they call their main product ETF. I haven't, but this is actually, no, not in a bad way. So there's a couple, like I've said before, I'm so bad on actually putting my money where my mouth is. Like I just park all my stuff in long-term high yield things and I don't think about it. I have like no interest in trading. I have no interest in trading whatsoever, but this is like the perfect product for that. I actually was just thinking about, but I have to like liquidate and move some money from another portfolio. It's just been a blocker. Yeah. But like, okay, I will say too, like for the first time, I moved all of my assets onto a cold wallet. So like I'm no longer my keys and my crypto. So that was a huge moment for me. I am practicing good safety and privacy and crypto hygiene. Yeah. So I am a slow mover on the financial side for sure. Like that's I know all about it. I think about all the like Reserve is a project I've been familiar with for like a year, and I think it's amazing. And like I've learned about it, researched it, whatever. Haven't made the leap.
Yeah, it's on my list. 3 more quick ones. Is our friend Casey Craig is the co-founder of Euphoria, which is bringing the trading experience to your mobile phone in the form of like a tapping game. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Basically, you have a chart that's like a 1-second chart. And instead of having to go through a complicated trading interface like KuCoin or something, Coinbase Advanced, where you set your price and adjust a slider, it's just a moving line on the screen and you tap. If you think the price is going to go higher, above the line. If you think it's going to go lower, you tap below the line. And if the line of the price hits your square, boom, you win some money. You get a cute little animation. It's called Euphoria. And I think it's going to bring a lot of people to like kind of advanced trading because it's such a simple interface. And then the others are, I'm really into like obscure, don't have anything to do with token stuff. I'm participating right now in a company called Joke Race is doing the joke games.
Joke Race is not obscure.
It's obscure to consumers. I mean, everybody in crypto knows it. Who works here? If you work here, you know Joke Race. David Phelps is like, I would consider an OG, like in it, chronically online person.
But nobody, not on Twitter.
Nobody knows about them. Even the people at Coinbase would be like, huh? You know, the corporate crypto people probably don't know about them. And the consumers certainly don't.
Culture. Yeah, I got you. Okay, the Joke Race.
Yeah. Joke Race and Logadog. I am currently eating 8 to 10 hot dogs every day in order to win what is going to be at least an ETH first prize for just eating hot dogs and taking pictures of them and posting them online. It's a hot dog eating contest up front and crypto in the back. That kind of makes it all work.
Incredible. I saw your thing about like, it wasn't like low carb buns, but it was like skinny buns or something.
Yeah, Carb Smart Buns.
Carb Smart Buns.
Carb Smart is the name of the brand. And you know, there's like 1 gram of net carbs, 3 grams of net carbs or something. The buns are like 70 calories each. They've got like, I don't know, 8 grams of fiber. So my colon is probably like over regular at this point. But
thank God we got an update on that.
Yeah, no problem.
Wondering.
If you're gonna eat a lot of hot dogs, you got to have Carb Smart Buns. So that's my alpha for you. And I need to know now what you're looking at. We're at about that time. Let me let our friends in the audience know where we're gonna wind the show down. We're gonna ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset. But before we do, we want to hear your last thoughts, your questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom, and we will defer to you, Lindsay. But tell us about your projects. What are you watching, even though you're moving slow?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to think about the things that excite me. 2 of my very talented and wonderful friends just launched a project. Let me find the name of it because I don't want to get that wrong. But it's essentially, it's called BYOB.
Actually, I love it.
Yeah, which I think is so clever. But it's be your own bank. And it's it's all about like, like this, I was going to say, I'll just read you the tweet, but your bank gives you 0.5% interest. Stablecoins are paying 4% plus interest, but most people don't know how to access these. With BYOB, you learn about personal finance and actually start earning these interest rates. So this was like just launched, which is so cool. They won a 1-inch hackathon, and it's like two super talented women that I know that are great. One came from, I was at Glow Dollar as well, which is like a project, like you all are familiar with Glow Dollar, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, Glow Dollar is just one of the nicest projects in crypto. Like, I love Glow Dollar. That's a stable coin that uses the generated yield to donate back to charities, which is really cool. So like you can actually like choose to donate where you want to donate your yields and stuff. Really, really cool. So huge fan of Glow Dollar. But yeah, so Lana and Jen are building BYOB, which I think is awesome. Really, really great name.
Lindsay, is it at Bitcoin BYOB on X? Is that right? I
don't actually think that they have a page. I'll send you the link here in chat, Evan.
Cool. Thank you.
Because I don't think that they just launched a demo on Twitter. It's like early. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Super, super cool people and project. And then, oh my gosh, there was something that I wanted to bring up and I lost it in my train of thought.
No. Let me stall for you.
I got it. Yeah, well, yeah, show that off while I'm talking because I don't want to forget again. But like, I'm actually spending a lot of my time learning about AI and agentic coding protocols. So like smart contract coding, I've been working a lot with one of our ecosystem companies called K3 Labs. And it's basically drag and drop smart contract coding. So you can do things like wallet monitoring functions, easily asset bridging, all of this stuff. And it's like literally just like drag and drop AI coding protocols. So it's like, wow, I want to do this and all that. So I'm going to be working on like a live demo with them where I basically build my own wallet monitoring protocol that lets me like do a daily email of my portfolio and just like where it's at. So like things like that. And so I'm trying to take it a little bit more to the like vibe coding world. I'm not a coder, but I'm trying to dig a little bit more into like the vibe coding world and what coding tools are out there for people with no code, to not necessarily to build a product. I've been thinking about this a lot with vibe coding, right? Because like I work with developers. I think like where vibe coding is going to be really cool is we're all going to build our own like personal systems for things and like create personal like tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That we can use for ourselves. Like I really have no interest in creating a revenue generating product because in order to do that, you do need to have real coding experience and like you cannot just vibe code your way to like something will break and you will have no idea how to fix it. Not interested in that. But like I'm very interested in like developing better systems for my own life and figuring out how to do that with like some of the AI and agentic coding protocols. And obviously like cryptocurrencies underlie all of those because they're trustless systems and all of that. So I'm spending a lot of time like figuring that side out these days, which is fun.
Don't get Alex started on vibe coding.
No, I'm like not a fan.
Listen,
I'm not a fan of it as like a revenue generating or like it should not, vibe coding should not extend beyond the self, in my opinion. Look, it's for you.
I might argue with you.
You hear that, Alex?
I might argue with you on that.
Another project I forgot to mention that's on my radar. I wish it wasn't.
My tax app.
Alex's tax app, the fat ass tax dashboard. This started as an experiment with using Replit and has grown into an app that will practically do everything for you, and I won't be surprised when it can get you coffee and press your pants. You got to tell her about it now, Alex, because it's honestly pretty cool.
All right, let's throw this bad boy up there.
I can't believe it.
It took us the whole show, but Lindsay, I'm sorry. Now that you're here and I have you as a captive audience, you have to look at the taxes.
I need to know more about taxes, so this is probably good.
Okay.
I'm going to do the screen share here against my will. For folks who are listening in podcast land, you can catch the screen share of the podcast app and so much more if you head over to YouTube and check out the Rise Up Morning Show playlist. Okay, Alex, what are we looking at here?
Just give it she's warming up. Just give her a second. Okay, there we go. All right, so sorry about the purple. It really doesn't come through on the mobile phone to laptop screen share. But okay, so this started off as just the first thing that was on here was this tax calculator. Where you can like upload all of your transactions or drop a CSV of your transactions or like auto upload in the Coinbase, Binance, or different templates and stuff. Or you can just manually add a bunch of transactions, or you can just toss in a wallet address and then which network you're looking at, and then like how many most recent transactions you want to go through. And then you can actually apply a token filter. So like if you have a bunch of trades in there, but you only want to talk about like your, ETH to stablecoin trades or whatever. And then you can get this like full readout of all the transactions and then where you are, up or down. And then over here, you can set in your parameters for your taxes, like what year is it, what country are you in, what your filing status is, annual income to get your bracket, what state, what reporting method you're using. And then it will just give you like a full like report and readout of what you owe and what you could do to make that less and what you should have done or things to consider, or if you're being as efficient as possible. Yeah, so this is how it started, and then here's where it is now. Where
I'm so scared about what you're about to show me.
Okay, so this is the newest feature. This is called the sandbox, and basically what you can do here is fake trade crypto. So you can get used to holding things and watching prices go up and down, and then get kind of the like light experience of feeling what it's like to buy and sell stuff at different prices without actually having to connect anything or pay anything.
Yeah, it's paper trading on TradingView. I get it.
Yep. So you can do a simulation. You can also, this is my favorite part probably. So this is all about profit taking. So you can pick the currency, pick the current, or it will autofill the current price. So if we did Sol, it'll give you your current price. You can, whatever your position size is, you have 10 Sol. Your average cost was, I don't know, 140. And then you can build a profit taking strategy. So there's a bunch of different like automatic ladder outs at different percentages, or you can do swing trade and say, okay, I have $3,000 in cash on the side. It's in dollars. And I want to build a little like swing trading plan. So it'll tell you like what your next buy price is, what your next sell price would be at what percentages. You can drag these little sliders around and like play with the numbers and kind of see how it changes if you want to do like, buys at 10% with 20% of your stablecoin position, or if you want to go half or third or whatever, you can just drag and drop and do all that. So that's probably my favorite piece. That's the one I'm working on right now. But then on the educational side, there's like a gajillion just like learning resources. So there's a large glossary that's sorted into crypto specific, finance specific, or blockchain specific terms, and then of course they link out to all of their like related terms and whatever. Basic definition and all that good stuff. You can search for stuff, and if there's like 120 things on there right now. There could be more for sure. And then this is like the tutorial center where you can take a whole bunch of different tutorials. This is what I'm writing right now. So like the first one, which is just about done, is setting up a wallet. And you basically just like click through this whole thing, and it gives you a whole bunch of different options and like why you might pick one versus another. You can pick which chain you're on, or if you're just looking at cold storage. And then there's just like a bunch of tips, things to keep in mind, lots of security recommendations. These are like the most common wallet-based scams and what you can do to avoid them and how to recognize them. Just tips about securing seed phrase, all that sort of stuff. There's a whole bunch of tax-specific education. This one is just kind of under construction right now, but there's like, pick the category. How does tax loss harvesting work? What are the laws about wash trading wherever you live? Using an LLC for profit protection or tax protection. There's trust stuff in there. I don't know. I could keep going. There's a bunch of shit.
I want to highlight this comment from our friend Depressive Hacks, who says, nothing says audit inbound like a Vive coded tax app.
Hey man, this is a gross representation of the fact.
I mean, but my tax app literally has a link to the IRS guidelines. So, leave me alone.
And an education disclaimer. So I would say you're probably good, bro.
He did also say, has Alex left home in weeks? And the answer is no.
No.
No. No.
I'm busy.
He's busy,
Yeah.
guys.
It is genuinely cool to see the amount of information that's in your head be organized and available for so many people.
Yeah, that's kind of what it just turned into a brain dump onto a web app. And now it's kind of gotten out of control because I was like, oh, well, why wouldn't you also have this? And now it just turned into like, if I could just design the ultimate website that I didn't have access to when I got started, it would be this one.
It's like like your own personal Alex. That's what
Yeah,
It
That's the
is.
goal.
and that's another thing that's on our map is Delphi is on the list, and another one. Our friend Sam just recently built her like AI replica. I would love to have
Oh.
an agent that sounds like me and does a pretty passable job. When people are in our community and want to know, hey Evan, what was that episode where you talked to that one person and what did they say? What was the link to that? I don't freaking know. But my AI would absolutely be like, oh, hey brother,
It
that's
was
episode.
fun. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it would be better than me.
Yeah, you need a little bot of your like logo. Like you need like a little question and answer bot that looks like your logo.
Like a little
And
Rise
it's
Up
like
puzzle
a
guy.
little character. Yeah, like a Clippy from Microsoft
Yes.
Office.
Yes.
Except it's the logo that you can just chat with.
I like it. I like it. Okay. When we have it, you will hear about it here. We got to wrap things for the weekend. Thank you, Lindsay, for coming to be on the show. It's so good to have you. We are going to get you into the Friends of the Show chat. We are going to have you and Larissa back sometime soon. Just as much as we can. We always want to talk to you. And if there's something that we can do to support you or our audience and friends can do to support you, don't hesitate to ever let us know they love you. They say, woohoo, Lindsay. Somebody said earlier, I need to be on whatever coffee she's on. She's so focused and smart.
I don't drink coffee in the morning either. I sent Alex a photo of me still in bed at 7:47 a.m. and I said I will be exactly on time.
That's perfect.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
As we prepare our final thoughts, Lindsay, I'm going to come to you first. I want to remind everyone that if you want to try Alex's tax app, the place you got to go is the Rise Up community. It's totally free to join. The only thing missing is you. Right now, the tax app is only in the premium section, though I do think I've seen some people share the link. We're pretty lax with that kind of stuff. You can sign up for a 10-day trial of premium, cancel anytime. After that, it's like $30 a month. If you don't think it's valuable, we won't be sad about it, but we do try to make it very valuable. And we have for everyone in the community an exclusive stream that we're going to join right after this. So you can have a more focused place to ask your crypto questions, share what you know, build community, learn, grow. And we say, rise up. I find myself talking faster as our show goes on, and I realize I need to slow down because I like to listen to my podcasts in 1.5 speed, and I listen to ours every day just to watch the tape, and I'm always like, oh man, Evan.
Christina listens to books in like at least 2.
That's
And I'm like,
crazy.
although one time we tried to listen to Redwall because I was trying to bully her into listening to, if you haven't read Redwall, by the way, dude, I just stumbled upon like a hidden gem TikTok account where this woman is like reading live with her audience or with her followers the entire series, and for context there's like 30 books, but like starting at the very first one, and I was like, dude, I found this at the perfect time. I love Redwall, favorite series, but it's like the guy who was narrating it has a thick Scottish accent for lots of the characters, and she starts this audiobook and it's like thick Scottish accent speaking in
Really
like
fast.
Scottish dialect in 2 speed, and we were just like, oh, there's no way. And you put it on regular 1, it's like I still got
Maybe we gotta go 0.75.
yeah, I think so. Just slow it down.
Before we go, I want to tell everyone where they can find me.
Yes.
I would love for that.
Yeah, you can find me at Seeking Alpha Pod on all platforms. And then I am also at Lindsay Poss on all platforms. That's Lindsay, LINDSAY POSS. Yeah, like Lindsay like Lohan. Which I'm so glad, like, you know, Lindsay like Lohan was kind of like a great thing for a while, and then it became a not so good thing, and now we're back in like it's a really good thing era. She's like having this beautiful renaissance.
Happy
So
for her.
I would really love to be associated with Lindsay like Lohan. Yeah.
Lindsay.
And Lindsay, you have a podcast, right? We've alluded to it several times. Is it like
Seeking Alpha.
broadcast and posted places where people can listen to it? What's your like favorite place for people to listen to it? What would you recommend?
I think the best place is YouTube, but it's also on every podcast platform. So if you're more of an audio kind of person, it is on every single podcast app. 5 stars on Spotify, please, and Apple Podcasts, of course. But yeah, we are on everything. Yeah, all the socials, all the podcasts.
And do you
YouTube's
have
the best.
a final thought, a question, suggestion, and ask, or something for our audience to remember before we ride off?
My final thought would just be that I hope everyone finds a lasting moment of peace this weekend. It has been a busy, busy season. And we're getting ready for kids to go back to school, and I just know
They're
how
already back.
depends on where you are. But yeah, I know how stressful this time of year can be, but it's like also my birthday is next week. So it's one of my favorite times of the year. So I hope that everyone can find a beautiful moment of peace for themselves.
When's your birthday?
August 22nd.
Noted.
Second.
Noted.
Last day of a Leo. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Got to send Lindsay good vibes for her birthday. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for making time to come on the show. Alex, do you have a final thought for the audience?
Nope. I think it was a killer week. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us all week long. It was slammed. Shitload. There's like almost 40,000 likes on the TikTok stream, guys. So thank you for hanging out and spending all of this time with us all week long. I really appreciate it. We'll be back first thing Monday morning. And if you have the opportunity to pay yourself from an investment gone well, do it. Please.
My dad can beat up your dad.
Jay Heat just said, if it's really an Alex app, then it's going to yell at me to take profits. And I said, yes. And you actually cannot turn the volume down. If you try to turn it down, it just gets louder. So if you have the opportunity to take some profits, do it. Because you never know when a day like this will happen, and you have the opportunity to put it right back in 10% down. And that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I meant to say.
What did you mean to say?
I meant to say correct.
That's
it sounds. Nishwari Gupta from Polygon saying
Correct.
head of payments and exchanges. I don't know. He's got a crazy title, and he dropped. I forget exactly. Oh, I think I was talking about like tokenizing credit card reward, like loyalty points and some stuff, and he like was trying not to leak some alpha about like a Polygon credit card and like
combination plans,
yeah, like this. And I gave this
Cool.
like big, long, rambly explanation about why I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And he just looked at me and smiled and said, correct. So now it's on the board.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, monsters and machines, people and creatures of all ages, thank you for being the very best part of what we get to do. We will see all of you in the Circle community, and the rest of you who can't make it there, don't fret, don't sweat. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back here Monday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, my friends, everybody stay safe, be well, rise up.